Morning, all. The song is called Growing Old is Getting Old by Silver Sun Pickups. Weird day in the NFL yesterday. All four teams had a stake in the Super Bowl, of course, by being there. But how the teams that won, how they won, was kind of the interesting thing of the day. I'm going to get into that real quick. We'll start with the game I didn't see much of. That was San Fran going to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. In just a moment here, folks. Alright. Atlanta comes out on them early, 17-0. Good grief. Oh, you can't see that. Come out on 17-0. And I had made a video yesterday, but it was too long. I didn't know how to get it through the movie maker, things like that, and I worked on it all day to be able to try again today. Hopefully everything's right. But in that video, I described how 17 points in a football game is kind of a bittersweet thing. In fact, I shake hands on games with the guy a lot, and we built in a clause. So if the team wins by 17 or more, that the bet is doubled. No, it's doubled, whatever it is, because there's a point, and we call it 17, 1 point over, two touchdowns and two two-point conversions. Needing the ball 3 times to score. That's kind of dominating. Again, I didn't watch all the game, and those who did saw what happened at that point. At this point, at 17-0, what happened? Ended up being 28-24, so they outscored them 28-7 after that. Now, how San Fran scored those 28 points were kind of odd. Better, with another disclaimer here, I don't know if Kendall Hunter played at all. I guess I should have looked that up going in, but it was Sunday and kind of bright, so I was out catching baseballs. If you did find, I saw the Michael James with Frank Gore play. I don't know if he was hurt, dead, I don't know, whatever. But they did real good here about going with multiple tight ends and few receivers. One deep threat. That should tell any, defense. And Atlanta runs that base 4-3 gig. Find out and they take quarters. One wide receiver would make them think, well, it most likely to be a run. But even if it was some kind of pass play with 2 tight ends, one deep receiver, we can keep a guy and the sidelines on the receiver, and let that fall where they may. We'll get to them before anything happens there. Any pass would be, running backs out of the backfield or short in or out routes by tight ends that we can flatten in on. But what they did when it's probably unbeknownst to them, well, hell, they do, they're pros. when you put in that mobile quarterback instead of Alex Smith, who might not get it out there, they can go deep. And what they do is run Vernon Davis out here in this post. The run, if Kaepernick fakes to Gore here, he's looking run, so he's coming up. But Vernon Davis is out here in the flats. Now he gets there, when the ball gets there, it's just him. He catches it, and he gets to make that football move, and it's turning upfield. And the best anybody can do is just push him out of bounds. That's about all they have for him here. 20, 25, 30 yards at a time. Then they line up, push you down, run the ball. And then they line up with 3 tight ends, no deep threat to say at all. He's on the line. Now they start pulling. Everybody pulls. That's dangerous. Or, they can go the other way with Moss, Crabtree, those guys. Hunter, he got a weird number for a receiver, 46. Didn't know if he was a fullback or a receiver or what, but he caught one. So I would go with receiver. They can go vertical, but it's predicated on these guys again. What they do, they can take out the line and hold them. Then you've got Moss and you've got Crabtree and these guys that can make a catch down the field. Don't need to rely on that like Atlanta needs to rely on that, right? Atlanta has Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, one tight end, great though he is, and Tony Gonzalez. We'll get rid of rid of Davis and make this Gonzalez. They got 3 receivers, slot receiver. I don't know who these guys are besides Jones and White. Their offense is based down the field. Well, that's not going to happen a lot. Any success would be from these same guys posing that deep threat with intermediate routes. That way you keep that defense always guessing. But a lot of times you just see them make their move at the line of scrimmage and take off down the field. Wasn't able to do that as much there. And thinking about it, Sam Fran kept the offense on the field so much after that. You can see him maybe playing a bit shaky at first. 17-0. That's an earthquake. Keep your feet under you. Make one play at a time. Your first down could win you the game. It's losing for you, So Kaepernick throwing the ball, not a super deep home run guy, but he gets it out there, and by all means, yards after catch is definitely in San Fran's favor. They were popping those Atlanta receivers if they did catch it. Now, Tom Brady could have went to his 6th Super Bowl in the 12 years he's been here. That's gangster. That's extremely gangster. And knowing that you've got a chance to be there all the time. Now, he is great. I wouldn't say so much about the pieces around him. There's a bunch of good guys. A lot of guys people passed on, and some even they passed on. But Baltimore has that offense, and their tight end actually came through with the touchdown. Pitter. As they go back set, they can put Jacoby Jones in the slot. You have Bolden on one end. Oh, that's the other guy's name. Oh, I just woke up. And I'm going to sit here and go dead air until I remember it. Oh, whatever the hell it is. No, Smith. I can't remember. I hate this. Anyway, uh, they go long, and they can because they've got a 6'5" quarterback that knows where they're going to be. All he needed was just a guy. When he got Bolden, they stretched the defense out. You can't double team as much anymore. You got to give Ray Rice a look. But with those guys all stretching the field, and then a big part of it is actually making the play. They can make the play. You know, Baltimore can score with the best of them, but New England is the best. And what happened in that game, I watched most of the first half and ran through the second half. Thank God for TiVo, whatever it is. Love it. Uh, there was a point in the game where Baltimore took the lead. It was 7-3. You know, you think you punch the Patriots in the mouth, you're up on them in the AFC Championship game in their house, and you score a touchdown after they kick a field goal, that would be enough. And you know, with any other with the Patriots, that's just not so. Any other team maybe, but not with the Patriots. And what happened was instead of touchdowns, well, they did get one touchdown, another field goal, just got to 13-7. You know, at halftime, dealing with these guys, it's a 21-10, if you're lucky, kind of thing. But they're scoring touchdowns. They ended up kicking two field goals. You know, which is only a testament to what Baltimore brought defensively. You call it hard. Of course, that was a big part of it, but let's not forget that those guys are talented. Suggs was playing out of his mind, probably tired of hearing all this crap about New England, and for whatever reason, you know, I would be cool with that. One thing was New England, and I brought this up in the video yesterday, have a big thing about going with the short passing route where they maybe just sit here and look to augment their run game. Now, they had a great guy in Ridley. He was a 1,000-yard back, but it's just, and they count as passing yards, of course, but those passes are forward passes, but they don't even get to the line of scrimmage. He's so quick about throwing it out there, but yesterday they dropped a few for first downs, a few that weren't, but there were a lot of balls on the ground, and it's not, you know, now I think that might have been one of the biggest things, is, you know, turnovers and all that, maybe, but those incomplete passes, it forced New England to kick field goals. It forced New England to punt. So, you know, you don't see that. You don't see that every day, but you do see it out of a team that did this exactly 1 year ago, one football calendar season ago. Last AFC Championship game, you had Baltimore all in New England's mix in their house, and an errant field goal kind of did them in. It did do them in. Now, it's all weird in these games, these last 2 or 3 games of the season, the Conference Championship football and the Super Bowl, to see that interview with the losing coach after you've seen the confetti fall, a few commercials and all that. Then they're like, well, let's go to this guy or lady in the other locker room, And you didn't get that out of Belichick today. Now, I'd had every intent on coming up here blasting him about that, you know, kind of cocky or whatever, but I tend to give players a pass on their off-the-field or non-game antics if they produce on the field. You know, when T.O. was doing his thing, well, hey, he was on the field doing it. Chad Johnson, all these guys. It's just odd for us to see a coach doing it, but by all means, he has the numbers, so I'm going to give him a pass on that. I want to talk about the Harbaugh a bit later on.